The last roundup, last roundup, last roundup.
Hey, ho, ha, ho! Hula, 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 the bula, bula, bula! Look who's got the front seat to the Mexican hat dance now! Just like a bunch of spiders in a birthday cake.
Yeah, here we are. Last Roundup Horror Show. Really loud samples coming in hot.
Yeah.
I should have checked those levels a little bit.
Yeah.
I am Frank, of course, and we got the full crew back together. It's a reunion show.
What? It's only been one, hasn't it?
Well, you missed two because you missed
the
club.
Oh, shoot. Act like I've been gone forever.
It seems it's been a month, you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you got Jason over there coming back.
Yeah, I'm back.
He was on vacation for a little bit.
Yeah,
And
Hey.
you got John Walmsley.
Oh.
That's our new sample, Jason. I don't know if you were aware of that. It's when John does something really great, we just play that. But
All right.
then we got Rob Avery. How you doing, Rob?
How's it going? Pretty good.
We got some movies here, so 4 of them. Pretty Maids all in a row. We're gonna start out in 1984 with The Initiation. Summary for this film: an amnesiac. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
An amnesiac. Oh god, it's a fucked up word. Sorority member who has been plagued by a recurring nightmare is stalked alongside other co-eds by a killer in a deserted department store where they are completing a hazing ritual. Directed by Larry Stewart and Peter Crane, both mainly worked in TV throughout the 70s and 80s. Written by Charles Pratt Jr., who was mostly a soap opera writer. Jason, do you have any information?
Yeah, tagline. They pledge themselves to be young, stay young, and die young. Distributed by New World Pictures, and I think most recently out on Blu-ray through Arrow in 2016.
A couple cast highlights here. You got Vera Miles, who plays Frances Fairchild. She was in Psycho and Psycho 2. The always wonderful Clu Gulager, is that how you say his name?
I believe so.
He plays Dwight Fairchild. He's been in a lot of stuff, but you know him from Return of the Living Dead.
Bert.
Huh?
Bert,
yeah. And then you have Daphne Zuniga, who plays Kelly Fairchild. You'll know her from Spaceballs. And what else was she in? She was in
Was she in Melrose Place?
Yeah.
Norm to Drip Blood.
Oh, she was in Melrose Place, but she was in some other horror movie that in a smaller part. I can't remember what it was.
The Dorm Drip Blood. I forget which part.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you what, man, the way they open this up with these credits, every time I see something like this, I always think that is a huge, bold fuck you to anyone watching the movie. It's just white text on black background for like 2 fucking minutes, droning hum just behind it. I don't know why you would do this to any. Shorten them up.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, well, you were probably doing something else, fucking with your phone. Yeah, getting a drink, whatever. There's plenty of time to go take a shit, anything you want during this time. But I never understood why anybody would want to join a fraternity or a sorority. I don't assume did you guys go to college? John, you went to college. You didn't do the frat thing or anything, right?
Nah. I went to a technical college. It didn't have that. We made up our own.
It seems like they're populated with like the worst kind of people, and I don't know why you would go through all this shit just to hang out with these terrible assholes. But whatever. Everybody lives a different life, But I think I've said this before, but anytime a movie goes to a mental asylum or a sanitarium, I fucking love it. So this one they go to, and this is just populated with weirdos. It takes full advantage of the situation in the brief amount of time that they're at this asylum in the beginning. I just like that a lot. Clu Gulager's outfit, he I liked that a lot. He had an ascot on and a belt buckle, and he's like shooting a gun. He's fun. He's really fun in this movie. I don't. I think he must have brought those clothes from home, because I don't think a wardrobe department would put that look together for him. I don't know. There's this character that stood out to me. She wasn't in anything else, but she's like I don't know. The guy's like is he a scientist or professor? What's the guy that has the dream machines or whatever?
I think he's just a professor.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's a TA.
Oh, okay. He has a lot of leeway. They let him do a lot of shit. But he has this assistant whose name's Heidi. Do you remember her? She's like this red. She looked familiar to me, so I'm like looking her up. I couldn't find anything I've seen her in, and I realized it's because she looks so much like Terry from The Gate, and I'm like, oh, that's what it is. She looks like his older sister or something, you know?
Oh man,
I felt like a dumbass when I looked that up, but
she also kind of looks like the humanized version of the what are they called? The girl chipmunks. So they chipmunks.
Okay. Yeah, there you
the
go.
one with glasses.
There you
Yeah,
go.
that guy looks like the humanized version.
Yeah,
of her.
that's it's probably a mix of those two things.
Her name's Jeanette, I think.
What's that?
The female chipmunk. I think her name is Jeanette.
Oh,
I don't know.
you know what? That's a deep cut. It's a deep cut.
I don't think I could name all the. Oh yeah, Alvin, Simon, Theodore shit, just because of the song.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't even think I could name them, but yeah, I sure can.
I know all their names from the Slash fiction, but that's just me. Could you imagine? There's a point in this movie where Kelly hears her father tell another woman over the phone, "I love you" and shit, and like realizes that he's cheating on her mom. Wouldn't that fucking blow your mind? Whenever I saw it, I was like, if I was at her age, like a teenager, and heard my dad like heard him doing that with some other woman, it'd fuck me up, man. I'd probably, I don't know. I don't know. I'd be depressed for weeks after that.
Yeah, that's definitely messed up.
Yeah. It's pretty funny to me that the most there's several different ways this guy kills people, but mostly it's it's not a guy, spoiler alert, but it's a little garden hand rake. What is that? Is that what it's called? A hand rake?
Yeah, it looks
so.
like it. Looks like a little hand
Get you
pitchfork.
Get you right in the throat.
Little pitchfork.
I really liked it. There's three like major sequences in this. And the second one's a party, 80s party. Great section. There's a band called Refugee that's playing there. They kick ass. They're like I don't know, kind of punky a little bit, but I enjoyed that. It's just a dumb, fun 80s party. A lot of cool, well, not cool, but fun characters. I don't know if is it supposed to be Halloween or is it just a costume party?
It was a come as your deepest desires or something, or like it was a psychology thing.
I get it. Okay. Did any of you guys think that you could pick up on like the soap opera writing? Like the guy that wrote it was like mostly soap opera. Like I don't know if it was that I read that before watching it, but
the writing's a little weird.
There's a whole part with the professor guy, Peter and Kelly, when they kiss.
Oh,
it's so sickeningly sweet and cheesy. And the music swells up and it's like a fucking soap opera, man.
Made you feel
sense.
Yeah. Overall,
they manipulated his feelings.
Yeah,
you don't like that.
No, it didn't manipulate my feelings. It was just it wasn't good enough to do that. It was like if you saw like a soap opera from this time period, it was just like that. But this is a fairly good movie. There's only a couple things I have issues with, and when she gets hypnotized and starts talking like a little girl, that is so fucking cringy. I mean, it is rough stuff. And I think that another mark against this film is the occasional lulls in like the progression of the story. in a vague attempt to endear you to these characters. But I liked all the characters to begin with, so it wasn't like they needed to do that much work. It seemed like they were trying to get you more involved with them than what uh, they needed to do. They were good, well written characters, I thought. But
You're on the money. You're on the money there.
Yeah, and that's what was weird about it, because I liked every character. Normally in a slasher, they want you to hate all of them and want them to die right away. But you know, this was different. We got another porn at work alert. I really want some stats on how much porn security guards watch while they're on the job. So if anybody is a security guard, and it's, well, these guys are it's always magazines. I mean, modern day, it's probably constantly, but they read these things like they're for articles and stuff. They're always like, huh. And they just put them to the side like you would a newspaper. The actress Hunter Tylo plays Allison in this movie, and she's one of these cases where I was trying to figure out the cast, and I looked at her picture on IMDb, and I'm like, well, that's not that person. It took me forever because she's had so much plastic surgery. It's really a shame what she's done to herself over the years, because like she's unidentifiable. She looks like a character from Escape from LA. It's bizarre, but I thought she did a great job, and I don't know. She must have got into her own head about that, like plastic surgery shit, because I don't know. It's wild. There's a bow and arrow kill in this movie, which is pretty rare, I think. Oh, there is. There's two. There's a crossbow. But I was like, that stood out to me because the only ones I can think of are Friday the 13th and Valentine. Can you think of any other ones?
Sleepaway Camp.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Every time I see one though, I appreciate them.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Scouts. There's some arrow kills in Scouts.
I think I've seen that.
Oh, that's a good one.
The setting for the shopping center is the Dallas Market Center. It was also used in Logan's Run. This is like a big trading center in Dallas. It's like not the World Trade. It's they go there and do stock stuff, but it's also a huge mall thing. Like the part where they had all the flags and shit, that's like their trading, that's where they trade stocks and shit. So like, yeah, I liked all the settings that this movie has. It's one of the coolest shopping centers you've ever seen. It kind of had flavor of Dawn of the Dead a little bit, them just having free access to this center. But I thought Allison's death was the most gruesome, probably my favorite. The image of the bloody microphone just out of her reach was just I loved how it looked. It was a great piece of film. I like the ending too. I didn't see the twist coming, and it didn't piss me off. A little weird, but I think about the coolest part about the ending is the freeze frame. Just that they decided to do that. I give this an 8 out of 10. Liked it.
Yeah, so I'll go. So we have 80s slasher, which everyone knows is my comfort food there. This one's a little slow. It feels a little long, and I think it's due to the writing. I think they spent like too much time like trying to throw in plot twist, and I don't know. The writing just is weird to me. Like it's slow. It gets boring in parts. It's a decent story and everything, but I'll be honest. The first time I watched this movie, no, I wasn't expecting the ending because I really had no idea what was even going on. I was like, I didn't even know there was another girl. There's another girl, right?
Right. You never see her. You're always supposed to. You're always supposed to think that it's that guy that ends up being her dad. Like you're always supposed to think it's him.
It got kind of weird and confusing for me. I think if they would have spent more time on better kills, some better practical effects, this could have been a 9 or 10 for me. I'm with you, Frank. I like the settings. I like the sorority house, and then they move it to the mall, and it is kind of I guess it's a mall. I mean,
yeah,
they called it a department store, but this thing is like,
yeah,
I don't know how many levels high, but
It's hard to even explain. Yeah, when I looked it up on Google, it is hard to even explain what it is because it's like they trade stocks in that one part, but then everything else is
Yeah.
like a huge giant mall. So
So
it's like
those flags and everything, I swear I've seen this before. Like
Mhm.
outside of this movie, I've seen a picture of that. Looks I
Yeah.
don't know, just that part looks really familiar. But I think they did a good job with the cast. I think the acting's solid. I even jotted down the two arrow kills. I like seeing that. Um, I don't know. The writing was weird, and then the kills weren't that great. And like, what I don't know what they kill, like four people with that little garden tool.
Yeah.
Like before
Yeah.
they even like changed anything. So
Mhm.
I don't know. It's still a good movie. I like it. I have the Arrow Blu-ray. I give it a 7.
All right. Whenever this came out for Arrow, I was still reviewing their Blu-rays, so I got sent this and I'd never seen it before. Always been intrigued by the video box art, the melting candle
Yeah,
lady. It gives
it makes me laugh every time I see. I'm like, oh, this guy's
Right.
making candles that look like women, or he's
right.
making.
I just thought it was cool. I always liked it.
Yeah.
And it always made me think like, all right, this is gonna be some like satanic cult shit, and I was so ready for it. And when it turned out not to be, I was kind of disappointed, But because that's how I read that thing. None of this evil twin
No.
slasher stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's not how it was advertised to me. The
It's like blood rage mixed with chopping mall.
Yeah.
It's like a mashup.
Yep.
Pretty much. I really did like that setting. It was just so like huge. It was so huge and empty. When it was empty, it was pretty creepy. But there was also like ample room where I feel like this kind of is too big to maybe be effective with the killing. Like she was always right where they were, and I feel like if they were really running and trying, they could be doing jumping stairwells and stuff.
It definitely didn't have that claustrophobic feel to it.
And wouldn't you think that one of the
right?
Wouldn't you
But
think
it was
that
big
one
and
of
empty,
the
though. So
wouldn't you
that's
think
creepy too.
that one of these sisters would have an advantage over the other one as growing up with this scenario, this building, and like knowing the way around it a little better? Or did they both grow up knowing this building? I don't know. It got confusing once they revealed that there was two women. So I don't know.
Well, she got put away. The evil twin got put away right after the fire because she stabbed Clue. Right, she stabbed him, and
that was
Vera
confusing
Miles,
too.
Yeah, Vera Miles was like, "Get the fuck out of here! You ain't fucking up my meal ticket." That one sorority girl, Megan, the leader, like she gave me some serious Karen Black vibes.
Same, and she looks like she's close to 40 years old.
That's true for sure.
She's getting her doctorate, double doctorate.
She's been there for a while.
She's like Van Wilder.
She comes with the house.
Right, exactly. I really liked the mental institution scenes, and when I read on IMDb, it turned out to be those scenes were done by the original director Peter Crane, but they didn't like his what they call it, a Euro art house. They didn't like his Euro art house aesthetics. So he shot those two scenes and then they fired him. And you got to admit, it looks incredibly different.
Well, they brought the writer in to finish those up, didn't they? Is that what happened? Or did they bring did they bring somebody else in or no?
Well, they brought in whoever actually directed it.
Oh, okay.
Larry Stewart.
I get it. I'm confused as shit, man.
Well, Peter Crane.
That's what I'm saying. You know the writing is.
Yeah, the first
director,
about this movie. Yeah. I mean, it didn't really do much for me. It ran long. Jason, you're right. It totally ran long, and I don't know. The whole initiation was stupid.
It's like they bailed on a concept or something, because they
Yeah.
did start it out to seem like a cult thing, like with all the girls and the candles and all that shit at the beginning, and they were doing all that weird creepy shit, and then it kind of just fell apart and it turned into a different movie. It was like fucking Stripes. You know how Stripes is great and then it fucking falls off. I don't know. Continue. I'm just...
Stripes is always great, all the way through. I don't care. um, yeah, like this one when I watched it a couple years ago, and then again, to what couple last week I watched it last week. Um, it still didn't do much for me. I like the acting. Uh, the whole twist was just like, all right, whatever. You know, evil twin. It didn't do nothing for me the first time because I feel like I called it. You know what I mean? Like I was just like, well, it's definitely not the dad. He's grotesque looking, but they're not gonna make him grotesque looking and the killer. He's already been
I just
seen.
fucking went with it, man. I was
It was too obvious.
That's what I kept thinking. I'm like, well, they're not even trying. But then I figured they're soap opera. It's a soap opera writer, so
yeah.
But then they always do
Victor
shit like
Newman, damn you.
Soap operas always have twists, so I should have seen that shit coming.
What a twist!
They always have twins too, don't they? Isn't that a trope of soap operas? There's always twins.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The good and evil twin.
Yeah, there you go.
Good and evil twin. So yeah, I mean the characters were cool. I like the characters. Just the movie itself was just So I gave it. That's what I wrote. 5 out of 10. That's what I wrote.
Rob?
Oh, I really dug it. It was one of my favorites when I saw it as a kid. And it's like a lot of creepy things happen, a lot of good camera angles. But my favorite part was the beginning, opening with the insane asylum part and the murder of the nurse. Yeah, that was a really cool setup there. And then basically, it's like, and also one of the good gory kills. I got a kick out of that one. And the first time I saw it, the twin thing, just kind of caught me completely by surprise. I was like, that's fantastic. And some strange reason the evil version of her seemed hotter to me, even though they're
that's always the case.
Her
That's
hair
always
is a
the
bit,
case.
bit more let down and flowing.
I can fix her.
Yeah. Yeah, think
8.5 though.
Oh.
All right.
So I didn't see this until the Arrow release. So I didn't see this till later in life.
This was the first time for me too.
Yeah, so watching it back, when I was younger, that could be a game changer.
That could have been different, yeah.
Oh, definitely. But could you imagine how much better the movie would have been if they would have let you know there were twins and then followed both of them? Like she's doing the initiation for college, the other one breaks out, and they show you that happening and she could have had a body count building up. It would have been like Halloween kind of, but in a different way. I don't know. Whatever.
It's similar to the movie Nightmare, where same deal. The kid traumatized by the parent doing something sexual and attempts to kill the other person, and then grows up crazy. And
that's the third time we've seen something like that that I can recall, because that's how, like I said, Christmas Evil starts out like that too. I'm sure there's more, but let's go to 2007 for Rob's pick, 100 Tears. Two journalists are on the trail of a demented serial killer who may be much closer than they think. Directed by Marcus Koch, known mostly for special effects. He worked on the 2018 Halloween. He worked on We Are Still Here. He worked on Frankenstein Created Bikers, among 90-something other credentials. Written by Joe Davison. I didn't pick anything up from his IMDb. I don't know. Jason, do you have any information?
Yes. Tagline: It's gonna hurt. That's all I found. Distributed by Anthem Pictures and on DVD through Unearthed Films in 2014.
I really liked the intro sequence. There's this song playing that sounds like Tom Waits. It's called Somebody's Knocking by the Voodoo Organist, and it sounds like this.
Doom and gloom fill my room.
Very carnival-ish.
Yeah.
It's a good way to start out. A movie about a clown.
Dog Passion Disco and stuff.
Yeah, that's it reminded me of that too. But really started off on a good foot. The acting is very bad. Immediately. I mean, immediately it is very bad.
Yeah.
Which is really kind of sad too, because it's the main dude, the main protagonist character, the photographer guy. He's the writer. So he's like doing, he's writing for himself and then acting badly in that role.
It should have been a natural.
Yeah,
Should have stole the show.
He's writing for himself. I can deal with bad acting if rad shit happens. So in this movie, some rad shit happens. I think that it is balanced. The terrible acting is balanced by the great. I mean, I think they're great for what it is for their budget. I think it was 75,000. Is that what it was? I don't know. Great special effects.
Oh yeah.
I liked all the killing. It's like a fucking gore show. It's crazy. It's got a lot of handmade charm that movies from this time period had. There's a lot of them. It reminds me of so many shitty brain damage movies I've watched, or things from these early 2000s. Just great. They even did a great job choreographing the fight scenes, which that's hard to do. I assume I've never done that, but god damn it, it's got to be hard. And it starts getting gory right off the bat. It's just there's
I'll tell you, one of the first, I think it's the first kill, like where they use like a gel dummy or whatever.
Yeah.
And when he starts hacking away, like the camera's on that figure. Like you see the blade going in, you can hear it, like you can feel it, like it's actually chopping. I thought that's great. Like I know they use those. Shit. What's that?
You practice. Yeah, there you go. Ballistics.
Yes,
model.
I couldn't think of it, but I think more people should start doing that.
I mean, when you
that
have
was great.
If you can get a bunch of them, you can do some really cool shit.
They're not cheap.
Yeah, they're
not
probably
cheap.
a few $100s, I assume.
I mean, if these guys got one, shoot, these big budget films.
If this guy had worked on so many fucking special effects movies, he probably knows how to make his own.
That's really. I think that was the first time I'd seen that in a movie. That was good.
Yeah, this is some shit that, like, if I would have saw this at 16, I would have been like, this is what my favorite movie is. It's 100 Years. Like, I would have totally, and it'd be like, everybody would be like, what's that? And I'm like, you would, if you knew, you'd be, he's like a pretentious asshole about some low budget movie. As much as I love the song that opens the movie, there is a song that happens later on while this girl is getting eaten out in an alley that makes me want to write letters not only to the band but to the people that made this movie and put the song in, because it sounds like they found an early 2000s cover band with one original song and put it on the soundtrack. It's The Independents. The song is called Alone, and here you go.
Well, as you're walking down the street at night, slashing everyone with your knife alone. And as you stroll down the street, covered in blood from your head to feet alone.
This is going on during that scene.
Yeah, it starts. That song starts when they meet up in the bar, and then she goes out in the alley, and the guy eats her out, and through that whole scene, that song is playing. Fucking crazy.
Weird choice.
Yeah. Alone. It reminds me of so many bands that you guys used to play with, like five people. Do you remember that band?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Well, I always left as soon as we were done playing. I'm out. I'd pack up my shit and I'm gone.
That happens. It's a really rough sound mix on the whole movie. The dialogue's really low sometimes. Like they didn't have a boom or something. Like, I don't know. And it might help if they would have turned down the tonal humming that they were putting in an attempt to score it in a weird way. Because if you don't have good mics, from my short experience with making films and stuff, if you don't have good mics, you need to turn that shit the fuck down, or off completely. Um, the one girl who ends up being Gertie's daughter in the movie is a cutter, and there's nothing really much more dated than that or cringy. Do girls still do that? Is that still a thing that goth girls do? Does anybody know a cutter in their life?
I don't know, but they didn't do a good job on that. Like they did fail
No.
on that part because like half the time it's just leaving scratches, and then
Yeah.
then a random time it'll actually have some blood come out, but it's just for the most part. It's just,
Well, I
like
mean,
it just turns
yeah.
pink where she's scratching herself.
This girl becomes really, really cringy later whenever she does
Unbearable.
the crazy giggles that like it's like a lot of girls in these low budget films went to the Sherry Moon Zombie school of acting where it's giggly, crazy baby talk things, and I hated it. But who does a great job is Jack Amos. He is Gertie. Solid. I'm glad they didn't make him have some weird voice or like do some crazy dialogue or whatever. He's just a killer. I would like to see him cross over with Art the Clown as him be a sidekick or whatever. They could do like, you know what I'm saying? But I do feel like I'm represented in this movie because the guy Mark, who's the writer or whatever, at the end of this movie, he is put into a scenario that people with my body type and our body type don't get put into very often, and he is doing some fucking spin moves and jumping around, and I'm like, you don't see a hero like that. He does die, but regardless,
He went down fighting.
He did some shit. He jumped on some boards. I saw he was going, it was hilarious how they ended this movie. It was almost like they couldn't really figure out an ending. We're running out of time, and somebody was just like, okay, well then she shoots her dad and gets in the car and it's driven by the same one. And so, it's like they just kind of, there's no connective tissue. They don't show you why or how any of that happened. Regardless, I gave it a 5 out of 10. Without the special effects, it would have been a 2 or a 3. Fun, easy watch though, even if it is a little longer than it needed to be. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, so we got low budget indie horror, and I wasn't expecting much. I watched the trailer. I thought the trailer looked awful. I really wasn't even looking forward to watching this movie. The acting is rough for sure, but I actually thought the lead, the actress, I thought she was pretty good.
She was the best.
She certainly was better than the writer. I'm now learning, but yeah, I thought she was pretty good. But it doesn't matter. This movie is all about the gore, the effects, the kills, and they do all of that well.
There's 30 something kills in this, so there's
yeah, like there's a lot, like right from the get go, like in the first 20 minutes,
15 minutes, yeah.
The fat guy chasing the dwarf around, that was hilarious.
That was
laughing my ass off. Like that was a good break in between all the gore.
And when he says to him, he's up on that bus or whatever, he's like, "What are you doing up there?" "I'm a dwarf. Look low."
I don't really remember the storyline to this, but again, doesn't really matter. It actually was better than I expected it to be. Just going off the trailer, still not really my thing. They did a good job with it, but it's a 4 for me.
Yeah, I saw this when back when Netflix was still the only big streaming service. They had this on there. I had watched a bunch of stuff. This was like one of the last things I watched before, everything started coming out other places. But obviously the gore. Holy shit. You said the director was a special effects artist?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, obviously. This is like the craziest demo reel. Like it's pretty badass. Gertie the Clown was cool. That giant fucking meat cleaver. That
The
thing was
clear,
badass.
Mhm.
That was like some Pyramid Head Silent Hill shit. Like that
Yeah.
thing was
And it could have
badass.
went bad for him too. Making a decision like that could go bad. You know, you take the
Mhm.
safe bet. You take the little garden hoe. That's easy. You doing something like that where you're cutting heads off, you know, it could go bad.
Did you watch past the credits? Like all the way past the
No,
credits?
I did not.
There's a scene where the main girl, the the main girl, not the
The
blonde,
the
the
reporter.
reporter. Yeah, she wrote a book about this.
Oh, really?
And then she's signing autographs, and then fucking Gertie comes up out of makeup, dressed like a normal dude.
Oh,
And she goes, "What's
I
your
did
name?"
watch that.
Yeah, she goes, "What's your name?" And what was his real name? Leon?
That
Something?
actually kind of pisses me off because I always fast forward to the end just to check. And I
Yeah.
didn't do it on this one. And then you tell me there's something there.
Yeah.
Of course.
figures. I heard they're gonna make a sequel, so we'll
Eh,
see. They always say that.
Money for it, and it didn't go through.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're still gonna try that again, but I haven't seen any other attempts.
yeah, there were obviously the gore. I'm a gore hound, you know. Like that was the big draw of this movie. With Frank, you were right. Without it, it would, this movie would have drowned. There would have been nothing to keep you interested. I liked his daughter up until she went Sherry Moon crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I liked her up until then. I thought she was
Mhm.
cool, but then she just got like the daddy, I want to kill. And
Yeah.
I just ugh, shut up. You could have just like
hmm
reshoot that. Come on, guys.
Yeah, don't make that
Don't use the
choice.
first take. Don't use the first take. Like, come on. You know.
That's a wrap.
Yeah.
We got it. We got
But
it.
I did like the main duo. They had some good chemistry together. The writer and the reporter. The writer, I thought he was funny.
Yeah, there were some parts. There were some parts.
He was
Like,
trying. He was sure as fuck trying.
I felt
to.
like exactly. He knew he's like, I know I'm not an actor, so I'm just gonna act this like maybe an exaggerated version of myself. You know? And I feel like that's how he presented
You know how
himself.
I bet this movie was constructed by the director coming up
Around
with a
the
list,
kills.
coming up with a list of special effects kills,
Mm-hmm.
and then the writer just writing, because there's never a point really where, except for the end, where those two worlds need to meet. I mean, at all, because you're following two different things. So that's just how I think. I don't know. There's so much disconnection between those two worlds. It seems like, because one's crazy, like when he cuts that dude's legs off, or is it a girl?
Yeah, the girl, yeah.
Crazy effects,
That
and then
was
you go back and
nuts.
it's like two different things almost. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, definitely it's worth a check out. Check it out at least once. And then if you ever want to revisit, cool. If not, you're not missing anything. I gave it a 6 because it really delivered on that gore. Really, really did. I dug that. The special effects were real good.
Rob?
I got a soft spot for this one. It's like one of my favorite films of all time. I give it a 10 out of 10. The gore is just fantastic. The acting, it's like I never watch a horror film for the acting.
Yeah.
But the special effects of the gore, I'm really easy to please if there's tons of it.
Mm.
And there was. The meat cleaver chopping through bodies, guts spilling everywhere. The wheelchair kill, come on, you guys had to fucking.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
And then come on, someone trying to fight the clown. It's a giant clown with a meat cleaver. That's when you run, you don't fight. And the dude's just like, he got what he deserved. You said you're gonna go up and try to fight a clown with a giant meat cleaver. What type of intelligence is that? It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I did like those two carnival guys, the dwarf and the old guy. They were cool.
Yeah.
So
I dug them.
So well, at least that I know of. This is the third unearthed films that I've seen. The other one we're reviewing uh, here shortly, but the other one I've seen was Song of Solomon,
Oh
saw
yeah,
and it was very
that
effects
looks.
heavy. So is that their thing? Unearthed, like they're all about the gore.
Yeah, they got like a lot
Yeah.
of gory films and stuff.
I figured that was maybe their forte.
And then unearthing like maybe lost films too. I think they've done that.
And well, don't they
I
have
think
a
they've
film
done that a
called
few times.
Unearthed? Like, isn't am I wrong? I thought I
Maybe.
saw a poster in the background and maybe listed somewhere in the credits of these guys. I don't know.
Mm.
Regardless, 1988, The Unnamable. Um, College students check out a haunted house where in the 1800s an ugly monster called the Unnamable was trapped in a vault. Not called the Unnamable, right, John? It's got a name. It's got a name.
Yeah, it's like a Lida.
And if I'm incorrect, the Unnamable he's talking about is the grave he was in, because he says it at the end. I don't know. Directed by John Paul Ouellet, also who also did the sequel, The Unnamable 2, The Statement of Randolph Carter. This is based on an H.P. Lovecraft short story with a screenplay by Jean Paul Ouellet. Jason, yeah,
Bleh, bleh.
Ouellet.
Tagline: There are things on God's earth that we can't explain and can't describe, and we can't describe. Distributed by Vidmark Entertainment, and then out on Blu-ray through Unearthed, in 2018.
I am really glad that they did not remain in the 1800s for this story. I am so sick of that time period. I don't like it for whatever reason, and every TV show wants to be a part of it. It's like they love the fucking 1800s. Um, really great acting though across the board, and it was surprising because I haven't heard of any of these actors before. I looked all through the whole list, and I'm like, I haven't seen none of this shit really. Um, there's a lot of funny things that happen in this. They use music cues in like sort of a hilarious way that makes it seem like you're watching Are You Afraid of the Dark sometimes. It's just like a little doodle-doodle-dee, doodle-doodle-dee, like a little doo-doo, like a little thing like that. It just uh but I thought it was so cool to actually see Miskatonic University in a film. You never see it. It's always like on somebody's shirt, or they talk about this guy went there. This is the first time I've seen it in a movie, and they're there for a lot of the movie. I mean, they're on campus through the whole thing, right? Like this house is on campus somewhere. Um,
Really super close. Like I noticed that they said it's like a mile from here, and then,
yeah,
and then the house is like right there.
yeah. They took no
But
time to get there.
also it took me like as many times as I've seen this movie, like I don't know how, but I never really noticed that they were sitting in a graveyard. In
Yeah.
my head, they were always sitting like under a tree studying that at Miskatonic.
Mhm.
And then when he points, then that's when I realized that they're in a graveyard. But I was like, oh, they were just sitting under a tree. Now they're in a graveyard. But that's just me.
Yeah. So I don't know what so basically the idea, somebody needs to tell me what they were going to this house for. Like it was to go investigate it for what reasons? Like why were they going there? I mean, I know the guys were taking the women there to date rape them, but I don't
True.
They said they
Not
were going
to
to scout
prove the
out the
story.
location for the
future date rapes probably.
the hazing or initiation or
Well, no, and are you talking about the
like if you go to
three
the
dudes,
what's
right?
the what's the
guys.
reason that they tell these women to meet them at the house?
Oh, those.
they want to go. They got to go there to get the
scare
layout.
them.
Okay,
They're gonna scare them
because
I thought.
I mean, basically, they make it seem once they get there, like the two guys are like, "We need to go find places where we can settle down or whatever." Like, and then they make it very clear that they are trying to fuck these women. But yeah, I was laughing at a lot of things. I think that the frat guys have the shittiest flashlights you've ever seen in your life. Like, they don't even produce as much light as a candle. Well, their batteries are either low or they just are, maybe they're bad quality back in those days. The movie only really suffers from one major flaw. They have this really badass looking monster. It's on the fucking poster. If you Google search this movie, it's literally the only promotional stills you can find. When the movie came out, people knew what this thing was going to look like. They even show it in the trailer. They put this poor actress through hours and hours of makeup. I can't even imagine how long it took for them to put this shit on her. And you barely see the thing. It makes no sense at all.
It's on the box art.
Yeah, you never
Yeah.
see it until the end. It is all the movie is damned near over at an hour and 27 minutes before you fucking see it. Or no, an hour and 17 minutes. The movie's an hour 27. So you don't see it until the last 10 fucking minutes. You see a hoof or you see
You gotta
yeah. What's going on here, Rob?
What?
What are you doing?
He's getting ready for his OnlyFans.
It caught me off guard. But regardless, you don't see this damn movie until or you don't see this fucking creature until the end of the movie. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
What? I don't smoke weed.
Oh man. Okay. Anyways, like I said, you don't see the thing until the end. I also have an issue with the tree spirits lore that they've dropped into this. Dumb as fuck. That is. I don't know if that's part of the Lovecraft story or they tapped that. It almost seems like it had to be, but I ultimately enjoyed this despite only seeing the monster for like 7 minutes.
Oh, poor
Yeah.
Frank. Poor
Yeah.
Frank.
I want if you're gonna, the monster's so badass, Jason. Imagine if you saw it every
I
kill.
know it's bad. Yeah, I agree.
And, you know, and I thought that there was a little bit of some problems with those tiny little skeleton hands that came out.
Oh yeah, that was so funny.
Come on,
That was
guys.
so awesome.
Come on, man. Just let him get out, little tiny.
It's like
Uh,
grabbing at his shirt.
but I gave it a
That
7.
was so
It's a
funny.
7 out of 10. I mean, it's a fun movie. I liked it.
Yeah, so supernatural horror, I guess. I rented this a lot growing up, and it's all to do with that box art. Every time I could return it, and I'd be skimming the wall, and I saw that box art, and chances are I probably rent it again the same day. Like, I like the creature, like the story, the setting, the atmosphere. I like the music. You know, it's H.P. Lovecraft, so that's intriguing in itself. The effects are pretty good in this too. I mean, there's not a ton of them, but what's there, I thought was pretty good. I'm not with you on the acting. I'm like 50-50 on the acting.
Really?
Like I thought the guys were cool, but the women they were awful. Whoever the foreign chick, the one that has an accent or what? Yeah, she was terrible. Like she stuck out from the rest of them. It may be not that great of a movie, but the nostalgia just pushes this up the scale for me. It's a 9 for me.
Wow. This is my first time seeing it. Never watched it before.
Yeah, I didn't see it until a few years ago for the first time, but I'd always remembered being intrigued by the box art and then too scared to get it.
It freaked me. It freaked me out, but you can't get enough of it at the same time.
I thought that the girl that played the creature put on a really good performance for what you saw. I don't know if she made those sounds too, but I thought they were really good. If I remember correctly, and I don't know how much you guys paid attention, or whatever, but the guy that looked like John Carradine, this whole story's all about. Because I thought it was John Carradine. I had to look it up. I was like, "There's no way that's not John Carradine." And it's totally not him.
Right.
But I still feel like that's a pseudonym. But he says, like, I summoned this demon into my wife to make her better, and now like the demon's like taking over. Like, am I? Did you guys catch up on catch on catch
I
on to
didn't.
that?
The only
Did you
lore
hear
I
that
caught.
part?
The only lore I caught was the fucking tree spirits, and you know that was it.
this was this was like a flashback
Yeah,
of him.
the whole time I thought it was his daughter. So, like,
Oh,
yeah, wasn't it his
okay.
daughter? His wife
I
died
thought it
giving
was his.
birth to this thing, right?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
okay. That's
Yeah.
what happened.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
the daughter.
Oh, I totally.
maybe
And I
maybe
always
he
thought that it was unnameable because the thing is so fucking hideous. But I mean,
he calls it by
That's
its
what I
name.
thought too.
there's a name, so I don't know.
Yeah, he gave it like the last name too. So
Yeah.
he says it. The old guy says it.
Well, the John Carradine looking guy at the end, when he comes out of the grave, says, "I've seen the unnamable. It was hell down there." That's
Oh no, that's not the guy that looks like John
okay.
Carradine. That was the guy that actually looks like H.P. Lovecraft.
Okay.
He
Regardless,
had that pointed long chin.
right? Yeah, you're right. I'm okay. Never mind.
Yeah, no, you're cool. You're cool. But yeah, um,
First time he's
this
been
is.
told that.
I liked this. I wrote the smarmy H.P. Lovecraft clone. He gave me a lot of Herbert West vibes because
Yeah, for
being
sure.
H.P. Lovecraft, you know, uh, this movie has its own vibe. I feel I didn't see this when I was a kid, so I don't have that connection to it. Like like this all is a favorite movie growing up. You know what I mean? But even as an adult, I watched it and I'm like, this movie's just like it's just good. You know what I mean? It's just like you can put it on and enjoy it or do something else, but it's like it's just like cool to watch or be on or in the vicinity of. Like, yeah, it's got some cheesy parts. The acting may not be great in parts, but I liked all the characters. The creature like was just super cool. And even though you didn't get to see it hardly at all, at least it's not as bad as the Slayer. All
Yeah, the
right.
Slayer is
That was the biggest
um
slap in the fucking
yeah,
face I ever got in a movie.
at least in this movie, you get to
Right.
see the thing do some stuff. Like
Yeah.
the Slayer, they just show it to you, and they're like, this is what's been going on, and then
Right.
then I retroactively think that
And
thing
it was cool.
killed.
It's cool looking. Like
Yeah,
it should have been shown
but
that
it's not cool
all throughout
looking
the
if you
movie.
imagine it killing somebody with an oar, right? Like imagine that thing like
Yeah.
yeah.
It wouldn't need an oar.
No,
It
it
need
would
an oar
not.
to kill you.
Yeah.
No, it would not. But I gave this one a 7. I really want to see the second one. I got to see what happens in it.
Oh, the second one's
Like
better,
even if it's
in my opinion.
is it? Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does
I
it-
haven't. I still haven't watched it.
Does it bring back any of the surviving characters minus
I
the
don't think it
creature, of
does,
course?
But I think the same actress that played the monster in the first one comes back.
No, she doesn't
Okay.
either.
Oh, she
It's-
doesn't either.
No, because the woman that
Excuse
plays
me.
the monster in this one only did this. Like
Oh,
that,
okay.
that's
Yeah,
all she-
I
and
saw
and
that.
the woman that plays her in the next movie was in Sleepaway Camp, or not Sleepaway Camp, Slumber Party Massacre 3, I think, or 2. I can't remember. Regardless, she's one of Quentin Tarantino's favorite actresses. I can't remember her name, but that was part of the trivia that I read. Anyways,
It's not like 20 years ago or something. I don't know.
yeah.
I remember liking it though.
Where were we at? I'm completely lost.
I gave it a 7, and we're
Okay.
waiting to see what Rob
Rob.
says.
What do you say, Rob?
I gave it a 6.5, only because of, I don't know, for me the movie was just, it wasn't really paced very well. The only thing I really liked about it was the monster that showed up at the end. There were some decent gore effects, but I don't know, the characters I wasn't really into and all that. It's just, I couldn't really, I don't know, just something. And then when the monster actually showed up and they're like fighting with it, and I'm thinking like this monster's got like superhuman strength and all that, and you've seen it bust through stuff and all that. And here's this person, fighting with it. Regular, normal strength, not a vampire slayer, just a normal teenager actually not getting his arm immediately ripped off by this creature and broken in half. I mean, it's like
a monster that can tear a head off.
So it's like, how are they fighting with this thing? It's just
testosterone, hormones going on. Like there's
it's adrenaline. It's just
teenage
adrenaline.
testosterone, really.
Yeah.
All the points that I give this movie go to the actual monster itself. To me, the rest of the movie wasn't really that fantastic, but that seeing the monster was awesome, and it would have been way more awesome if it just had like an unhappy ending and the monster just ripped everybody apart. I would have been pleased. I would have that's the best ending in the world.
Yeah.
Have a creature like that, let it kill everybody.
And then get just loose on the world.
Yes, exactly. Happy ending, man. Have you guys seen Psycho Gorman yet?
Yes.
I have.
No.
Okay, I'm not going to give anything away, but fantastic film, and it kind of.
I've heard. I've heard it is a real fun watch.
It's coming to Shudder real soon. If it's not already on there, it's coming real soon.
I got the Blu-ray in my living room.
I was going to pre-order. I almost did pre-order.
Yeah, I did. I was like, that's mine.
Yeah, I rented it on Amazon or something like that, and I'm gonna buy that immediately. Like my kids will love it. My kids haven't seen it because I had to screen it first, but I'm gonna let them watch it. They'll love that.
Even though it's super gory, but it's like gory in a fun way.
It's cool. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's fantastic.
All right.
That's cool. Guys make great films.
Rob, did you?
Oh, is that them? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Did you give
6.5?
6.5. That's what you said.
Yep.
Okay.
Pay attention. Are you sleeping over there or what?
Stuff's
falling down in the background.
I don't know what that was, man. I don't know, man.
I thought it was a cat, but then I didn't see a cat.
That's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. 1987, Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2. 30 years after her accidental death at her 1957 senior prom, the tortured spirit of prom queen Mary Lou Maloney returns to seek revenge. Directed by Bruce Pittman, who did the Maniac Mansion TV show. Do you remember that? Does anybody remember that?
Really?
With Joe Flaherty. I think it was Eugene Levy production, but yeah, he did Ray Bradbury Theater too. Written by Ron Oliver, who wrote Prom Night 3, The Last Kiss, and seemingly
that is a fun movie.
Nowadays, it seems as though he's just writing and directing Christmas movies for TV, because he had like 10 recent Christmas movies on his.
Get that money.
Hallmark. Yeah. Do you have any information, Jason?
I do, but let me first say that I'm glad we finally got around to reviewing this. Like it's been a poll pick like 2 different times, and it's never won. Finally.
Executive action.
Yeah. Tagline: Mary Lou wants to be prom queen, even if it kills her again. Distributed by Samuel Goldwyn, and last that I know of on DVD through MGM 2008. Out of print. I've wanted to upgrade my VHS $100. For a while now. Yeah, I think you can get one for $50 maybe.
Oh.
So this one desperately needs a Blu-ray treatment.
Yeah,
desperately.
Big time.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I really feel that if Mary Lou hadn't went into slow motion and maybe actively tried to either evade the fire or just take her clothes off and get away from it, maybe do a stop, drop, and roll. I don't know. She did not try at all to not be burned to death.
Not take a moment and look up in the
look up like, you did this to me. She just let the fire consume her. Regardless, this movie drips 1987. So many side ponies and Aquanet bangs that I'm surprised people aren't just bursting into flame day to day at this high school. Just one cigarette.
Had another fire this week.
Too much. Don't bring your hairspray anymore. The coolest part about this movie for me is the rocking horse. I don't know if that's anybody else like that shit.
Right?
I thought
Yeah.
whoever
So
fucking
weird.
crafted that, whoever made that, knocked it out of the park. It was just fucking awesome.
Even when it's just sitting there, even if it's just sitting there not moving, but still has the red eyes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Creepy.
cool shit.
Did a great job.
And what a weird thing, because it's just an added little. Somebody had to be real hyped about that. Like, yeah, and we'll have an evil, we'll have an evil.
Well,
rocking horse.
that has to be someone's real nightmare, because I don't know about you guys, but I had a rocking horse growing up, so I'm guessing that's something that, like,
Yeah, I can see
whoever was in charge of that scene, responsible for it, flipped out when that's a childhood trauma right there. They had a
Yeah.
rocking horse in their room that terrified them.
I'm sure it triggered. A few people.
Doesn't the white horse like symbolize something? Isn't that like, like how Rob
I'm sure
Zombie
it
ended
does.
Halloween 2? Like there's some
it's a
symbolism
drug
behind a.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I never understood it. I never
Um,
understood. Anyways, but yeah, that horse ruled. Anyways,
Yeah.
keep going.
the best effect for me. But the LA Times, when this movie came out, wrote that this movie is the Blue Velvet of high school horror pictures. Does that shit make any literal sense to anybody here? Have you guys seen Blue Velvet? David Lynch's Blue
No,
Velvet.
I've never.
Long
I never have.
time ago, once.
Okay. Does this remind you in any fucking way, aside from
I don't
them
remember.
drinking coffee and maybe inserting themselves into a situation, like the boyfriend character kind of inserts himself into a situation that he doesn't need to be, kind of like Kyle MacLachlan's character does in that movie. But I don't know, man. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. That doesn't make sense at all. A really cool sequence in this movie, for multiple reasons, was the locker room sequence where Vicky says, "Want bompa loo bompa, want bam boom," and then the lockers crush a girl and she
I love
oozes
that
out
scene.
of the thing. But this is the turning point in the movie where it really picks up pace and things start getting really, really fun. Michael Ironsides just decides to knock out his own son. Is that his name? His name's Michael Ironsides, right? That's who it is?
Yeah, Michael Ironside.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He knocks out his own son and then goes to shoot his girlfriend, who is possessed by by a woman he killed. That shit's crazy to me. He's a real no nonsense jilted lover. He wants to kill this bitch so many times. But ultimately, I hadn't watched this for a while, and it just has total flavor of like if Carrie and Night of the Demons had a baby.
For sure.
It's definitely better than.
I think I watched it on Shudder. Their description I thought was perfect. They have Nightmare on Elm Street 2 and Carrie.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that pretty nailed it.
I think it's definitely better than Carrie, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not big on Carrie. It's kind of slow for me, but it's not as good as Night of the Demons. I give it an 8 out of 10, though. I mean, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, so I guess we got a supernatural type slasher. I like the oldie songs being played throughout. Yeah. We don't get a whole lot of horror movies where that's the music.
No. Sometimes they come back. Probably one of the few.
I didn't even think Frank, we and you both like Phil Dirt and the Dozers.
Oh yeah, we used to meet up at those oldies shows.
Several good scenes in this movie.
Yeah.
Just a few of them was the early on. They tease you with that paper cutter. So you think there's gonna be a paper cutter kill, and then all of a sudden it just like hangs her from the light fixture.
Did it surprise you that
they don't kill her that way? Then it throws her out the window. Like that was a great scene.
Did it surprise you that they killed that girl at all? They were framing that girl up to be like trying to get you to give a shit about her fucking mental state, and I just felt she was annoying and dressed like an idiot. So like I thought it was, but they were definitely putting her like. They were putting her in the forefront, which is strange, you know.
Yeah, the whole scene there was good. The bedroom scene with the horse I thought was great, and Mary Lou coming out of Vicky at the end, like that was a great scene. Like, but chaos is going on, like that was just a great scene. We get full frontal 80s Bush in this.
For a long time.
Some points for that.
For a long time.
Good amount of nudity in this. The kills are good. The effects look good. I think it's a great movie. I was teetering back and forth between a 9 or 10, and it's like, well, I don't really know what I'm docking it for. So it's a 10 out of 10 for me.
Well, what else you want to do for them? Bake them a pie?
Yeah, this is this is one of them ones. This was an up all night staple. You know, this is one you talk about on the school bus. Hey, did you ever hear of that movie Prom Night 2? You know, it's about. I remember one girl specifically going, "Hello, Mary Lou," like that for some reason. I don't know, to make it creepy or whatever. But I really do like this movie a lot. That's why I picked it. It's got so much going for it. And as crazy as the script is, the script doesn't really like make all that much sense. You know what I mean? But it does to me. I'm like, I remember on did you guys ever listen to How Did This Get Made?
Yeah.
With Paul Scheer and
all the time. I've listened to every episode.
they covered this.
Yeah.
They covered this and they tore it apart, obviously. And we were listening to it.
It'll break your heart sometimes, man.
Yeah, we were driving down to fucking Myrtle Beach, and we listened to that. And I'm just listening, and they're saying all this stuff that I totally understand that they didn't understand. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why don't you understand that? She's a fucking vengeful spirit. Let her. She has powers. Who gives a shit? Like, just.
I've done the same thing, man.
The horse looked fucking cool.
Look at it. Same thing. Whenever they did Masters of the Universe, I lost my shit.
I know.
I was like, no, you guys don't understand. This is great.
Yes, same thing. I was doing the same thing. My wife's driving down to Myrtle Beach, and I'm in the passenger side, fucking yelling at a pre-recorded podcast. Like, God damn you, shut up. Dolph Lundgren was awesome. I don't care if they had to ADR his shit because he couldn't speak English. He's fucking He-Man. This gave me Nightmare on Elm Street 2 vibes all day. Like, I didn't even see that description on Shudder. Like, I didn't even read that. The girl that played Mary Lou, Lisa Schrage, I'm not sure how you say her last name. Holy shit, she was a dime herself, man. She was one good-looking lady. Like, and I saw, like, within the last couple years, she did at least one convention in Canada. Because, obviously this is a Canadian film. So I'm hoping maybe she'll get around here sometime, because I would love to get her autograph. That'd be so rad.
Hook up with her, I guess.
No. No. I don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and how have you guys seen Prom Night 1?
I've tried to watch it a few times. I've never got through.
Yeah, I fucking
wait.
hate
We
it.
didn't review it.
No. I have never watched it all the way through. I bought it at one point, and I'm like, I saw it. I'm like, oh, I've never seen this. Leslie Nielsen. Who else is in it? Jamie Lee Curtis. And I'm like, oh. Yeah. And the cover looks cool. And then I started watching it. I'm like, this is boring.
I mean, I don't know. I like it.
This was a vast improvement.
This is more
even though it's not related.
I think I probably would. We're gonna have to do Prom Night.
Severed head.
Yeah, we'll have to do all these.
Yeah.
I haven't seen 3. Is there more than
3? Is super fun.
Yeah, is there 4?
There's 4 of them, and 4 has nothing to do with.
Yes, I have 4. I haven't seen 4 on tape. I forgot all about that.
Oh, okay. 3 was fun.
VHS here somewhere.
I picked them up at off of, let's just say, a very feminine guy That I was scared to enter his house, but he had tapes for 50 cents a piece, so I went in. Got a
He risked it all for them 50-cent tapes.
Yeah.
The funny thing about this movie is you can find. I bought it multiple times, and you can find it at Goodwill's all the time. I got it for 99 cents. I wish they
That's
wouldn't put
rad.
these goddamned stickers on them directly on the cardboard that I have to figure out. Either leave it on there, just fucking leave it on there, or
You know, funny enough, the spine of one of the VHSs creeped me the fuck out, and it only had a picture that big. It was Mary Lou, where she was half Mary Lou and half like, I don't know,
Oh, yeah.
she looked like melted wax. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's not this one. But,
yeah, I thought
Well,
not. It's the one.
it was probably-
that
it was
creeped me out, man.
whenever she comes out of Vicky at the end,
Mm-hmm.
that's not the same actress.
Right.
The one that's covered in burnt up makeup and shit. That's a completely different woman, and then they transitioned
Exactly.
into it. Like they did a great edit on it.
They
but-
did great.
Oh yeah, I loved how they went about it. Yeah, lots of good kills. I felt the same. The crushing of the lockers, like, you don't see something like that every day. That was awesome.
It's not just good kills. Like, they put good scenes together. They put good segments together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like there's parts you're gonna like about this movie, even if you don't like the movie as a whole. But I love this movie as a whole. I saw it so many times growing up. Michael Ironside, I'll pretty much watch anything he's in. He's a great actor. I love Highlander too because of him. Like, he was funny in that movie. I love this character. The horse, I don't know why it was there, but I'm glad it was. That thing was creepy as shit. Oh man, how many of you guys cheered when Vicky threw her mom through the door? Like, that was awesome. She was a fucking raging bitch.
I was
man.
a
Jesus
little bit.
Christ.
I was a little bit in a because she right before that she like makes out with her dad.
That was Mary Lou doing that though.
Well, yeah, it was.
She was like full Mary
up.
Lou mode. Yeah, oh yeah, still, but I'm so glad she threw her mom
I was still
through
caught
that
up in.
door.
I was still caught up in. Her mom had seen it happen, and I was like, "Oh God!"
And just calls her a Jezebel.
Yeah. Fucked up.
Yeah, but this movie's a 10 for me. I really like it a lot. You know, you grew up with it. It's so unique too. There ain't another movie like this. This isn't a clone of anything. You know what I mean? Like, this is a pissed off. This is like Carrie's Revenge.
So different from the first.
Yeah.
Because I never was told anything about it being different when I saw it. So the first time I was actually kind of disappointed, to be honest with you.
They pulled a Halloween 3 with it.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, I hated Prom Night 1. It just did nothing for me. It was a bore. I felt like I wasted my time watching it. Jamie Lee, of course, that's awesome. There were great actors in it and everything, but it never did anything for me. And then this did it all. This was such a good movie, man. It's so bonkers crazy. I love it. I love it.
Rob?
I liked it. I gave it about an 8 out of 10. There's a few things I didn't like about it. It was like a little too much comedy, just a little bit, And a funny thing about the title, the silly title, Prom Night 2, Hello, Mary Lou, is like originally it was going to be called The Haunting of Hamilton High. But this is the 80s where slasher movies were more popular. And so the geniuses at the studio are like, we don't like that title, The Haunting of Hamilton High, so we're going to attach it to Prom Night and call it Prom Night 2, even though it has nothing to do with it, and we're just going to run with it there. And so it's kind of messed up. And then one of the things I read in Fangoria magazine, one of the PR people were talking about the movie site saying it's like, it's Jason with Hooters, it's...
Oh my
It's
god.
one of those weird things, but I did enjoy the special effects. The kills were fantastic, and the characters were fun. It's just that I think it was just a bit more serious. Like they could have made this a real scary movie, and they just kind of, I don't know. I think they could have just made it a little creepier, but that's the only reason why I gave it an 8, because I was expecting more from it when I first saw it. Like, oh gosh, how long ago was 1988? Anyway,
It's a long time ago.
I have
Too hard to figure out.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
Yeah, I used to have it on VHS, so it's like I watched it like hundreds of times.
Yeah.
Fun film though. I like part 3 better, especially because I think the person they had in playing Mary Lou in the third one was even hotter than the original actress.
Well, yeah, and you got to see Mary Lou throughout the whole movie though.
Yes.
This time, she was in the movie this time.
Yep.
You know, and the best part is when she's on the football field.
Yes.
And throws that football and it turns into a big drill.
Yep.
Right? That's what I've only seen it once, but that fucking stuck with me because that was so cool.
No spoilers.
Get out
Come
of here.
on.
Well, but that I would say, that's an approved movie, right? Like, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's not the first one tonight.
That's the only one that was approved, right?
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. Regardless, that's the show. Up next month, Jason has selected Dark Ride from 2006. You can watch that on that's available on Pluto. I am going with 1988's Troma's War, so you're welcome, guys.
It's on Tubi too.
Oh boy.
Huh?
It's on Tubi.
Oh, it's on Tubi too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Tubi.
Troma's War is on Shudder, so.
Okay.
You're welcome, guys. If you've never seen that, you're welcome. If you are a fan of Lost, imagine if Troma did it.
Yes.
What if you're not a fan of Lost?
John has selected Waxwork, and you can watch that on Tubi. And Rob has selected The Dark and the Wicked from 2020. That is available on Shudder and probably some other places too.
I definitely need to watch it again.
Yeah, so that's what we'll be watching next month. And on the club, Jason has picked Pumpkinhead, I think, is what we're watching on the club. So we'll see you next time, guys.
I'd say
see you guys. Stay safe out there.
See y'all. See you, Rob.
Yep.
All right,
see you later, guys.
Bye, guys.